All right, good morning, everyone. I just want to apologize to all of you that have been looking for the show. I just want to give you a little background. So Zach is out of town, and we have somebody new that's directing. However, there were some issues with our computer, so we're here for you now. I'm going to stay on camera with you and just kind of interact for just a bit. We're going to give you a rundown of some news and some sports, some entertainment talkers, and then we're going to bring our guest in at the half hour with Dr. Sarah Jensen, Medical Monday, and our Ask the Doctor. So I'm kind of reset because I think some of you didn't hear what we initially had on the beginning with YouTube. I do want to apologize also because you're not going to get a chance to see Beckett. Let me tell you, it's cold this morning, okay? Some of you in the 40s, some of you in the low 50s. We'll start to climb back up. I'm not going to do this justice like Beckett would have, and I don't have his full forecast, but I did pay attention that it is going to warm up over the next few days, and then there is a good 50% chance of rain as we go into the weekend. Friday, Saturday. Some of you are going to be happy about that because you had some crunchy lawns, right? You have the flowers and all of the trees that need the water. So the rain is coming this weekend. Summer-like feel, though, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, as the weather starts to climb again. Today, expected into the 70s, upper 70s. We're coming off a very fall-like weekend, so can't complain about that. Again, we've got a new person behind the helm directing, and just in life, can you all do me a favor because it'll make her and all of us feel a lot better. Tell Kelsey she's got this. Give her some grace, right? I'm glad that you're all with us right now. And do me a favor for those that thought maybe the show wasn't going to be on today. Spread the word to everyone. Share, like, follow always our live stream so that everyone knows that we are now on for you, and we're going to start building that audience back up. Give us a little time to bring Dr. Jensen in. God always has an interesting way of how he moves things. So there's a reason he didn't want us on in the first 20 minutes. For some reason, you needed a little extra time with your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your kids, your dogs. Can I go on and on? Yes. Maybe more time for yourself. Maybe you need a little more prayer time or a little more meditation time today. Whatever it was, there's a reason we weren't supposed to be on for the first 20 minutes. That's how I live my life. That's how I believe. And that's what I want Kelsey to know, that everything's going to be okay. We're here for you now. That's all that matters. Let me give you a rundown of some news you can use. We had all these beautiful pictures and everything that we had been planning for you, but do you really need that, or do you just want to know what's going on today? How about this? My team is really big on me telling you where I get outfits from and things like that. Can I just say, how cute are these new readers I have that literally cost me, are you ready for this? $2. $2. This dress that looks like $1 million, $11. Yep, my shoes were actually the most expensive thing on me. These are my Claire flowers. Okay, those are, who knows how much. I've had them for a long time. But the outfit of the day that they all want me to tell you about, we'll start doing that a little bit more and more. Again, just trying to get you to relax a little bit, have some fun. We will give you a rundown of everything that you need to know. Oh, we've got some pictures. Okay, see, things happen. Let's go. Do we have news pictures or just... Oh, how about this? We got see, it happens. All right, as the audience starts to build to know that we're here, let's go ahead and go to it. So our very first story has to do with Boeing. This is great news. Boeing reaching a tentative labor deal. Look at that, Kelsey. See, you got this. 25% pay hike, new plane commitment, averting a strike, and that affects, by the way, 32,000 workers. This early deal includes a pledge to build the next commercial jet in Seattle, better retirement benefits. The union members are actually going to vote now on this tentative deal on Thursday, and they face financial pressures. They posted $1.44 billion net loss in quarter two. These Boeing workers could still choose, however, to reject the deal and strike. So we'll find out more on Thursday. We've got 3 recalls to tell you about. The first has to do with cantaloupe, we'll talk about eggs, and we'll talk about the Ram trucks. The cantaloupe melons recalled across 5 states over potential salmonella contamination. Consumers, you are urged to throw away those affected cantaloupes immediately. Arizona-based Eagle Produce LLC is recalling 224 cases of those whole cantaloupes sold under a brand called Candy. That's Candy with a K. The recall was announced in a press release published by the FDA on Friday. And according to the FDA, the affected melons were labeled with a UPC number code of 4050 and a lot code of 846468. The cantaloupes were sold in Missouri, Michigan, Ohio, Texas, and Virginia between August 13th and August 17th. Now we go to these eggs. A recall linked to a salmonella outbreak. It's made dozens of people fall ill. This is actually under the labels Milo's Poultry Farms or Tony's Fresh Market, and they may be contaminated with salmonella, should not be consumed. It includes all egg types, including your cage-free and your organic, all cases and all carton sizes, and all expiration dates. And these eggs were sold to stores and restaurants in Illinois, Michigan, and Wisconsin. 65 people actually have already been confirmed ill, and this has actually been recorded in 9 different states. And then Stellantis is recalling more than 1.2 million Ram pickup trucks in the United States to fix a software problem that can disable the electronic stability control system. Dealers will update the software to fix the problem at no cost to owners. They will be notified by letters starting on October 3rd. And it affects the trucks from 2020 and 2021 through 2025, certain models of the Ram 1500 trucks. So a lot of recalls today. All right, we've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks. Tomorrow's the big day. The debate is on tap between former President Donald Trump and current Vice President Kamala Harris. The microphones will be muted when the other candidate is speaking. The debate, hosted by ABC News, is a showdown. Both have agreed to move forward after weeks of back and forth about the event's specifics. The debate is scheduled tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. It will be held in Philadelphia. The game time. It will be game time. The time of the debate is 90 minutes. All right, I'm hoping the best for you, the Mega Million jackpot. No winners so far, so it now hits $800 million. The drawing will take place on Tuesday. It's the game's 7th largest prize ever after no one matched all 6 numbers in Friday night's drawings. The drawings, by the way, are on Tuesdays and Fridays in Atlanta at 10 o'clock. We're going to go to some sports news now. This is a big talker. Tyreek Hill. Do you know him? He's with the Dolphins. He was detained, as you see in these 2 pictures, hours before their game against the Jaguars. He was seen on the road near Hard Rock Stadium. And according to viewers on social media, it showed Hill, as you see, in handcuffs, several police officers around him. Other photos showed Hill on the sidewalk with the stadium in the background, seen there in gray sweatpants and a white tank top. According to some reports, another player stopped. That person was temporarily detained. Now, he did get to the game, and he helped the Dolphins win. In fact, he had an 80-yard touchdown. And this, I don't know if I agree with, back and forth. It doesn't matter, both sides of the aisle or however you think about this. But, playing to the fans and kind of escalating things. He celebrated after the game, mimicking that he was in handcuffs, right? So celebrating with handcuff. He said in some of this, I wonder what would have happened if I wasn't Tyreek Hill, right? And then he also continued to say, I did what my uncle told me to do, put my hands on the wheel and looked straight forward and just listen. Again, we don't have the officer side. We don't have body cam footage. I do know one of the officers has been put on administrative leave. So there's legs to this story. There's a lot more that will come out. Other football news. How about the Bears? Jonathan Owens, his scoop and score on a blocked punt. And then Sunday Night Football said, hey, Simone, how you feeling? And she came back and said, I almost had a heart attack. It's so cute how you see the two of them with such great support for each other. Aren't they adorable? Let's go to college football now. Mizzou, how about Mizzou? Now ranked number 6 in a new AP poll. Next on tap for them, Boston College. That is a Saturday kickoff at 11:45. Not as good news, unfortunately, with the Cardinals. They were down 7-0 in the second inning. They ended up losing to Seattle 10-4. They will be back home tomorrow. They start a series against the Reds. Tomorrow night's first pitch is at 6:45. And I can't believe we already know this. The Super Bowl is not until February. It will be in New Orleans. Obviously, we don't know the 2 teams that will be playing, but we do know who's going to perform at halftime. It's Kendrick Lamar. Now, he actually has been affiliated with a halftime performance, not him by himself. Do you remember the one with Mary J. Blige? Hasn't been too long ago. Well, now it's all Kendrick. Do you know he has 17 Grammys? Woo! So that should be a good one coming up in February. A new era of Wheel Fortune tonight. I saw a promo for this. Do you know who the host is now? Can he do everything? Ryan Seacrest. taking the place of Pat Sajak. Have you heard that one? Ryan Seacrest says if you don't have enough money and enough jobs, he'll be with Vanna White starting the new season tonight. And topping in the box office, Beetlejuice. If you haven't been to a theater in a while, maybe that's one for you to watch. See, we did it all, and we did it in record time. Now, calm down. I know it's all going to be beautiful from here on out. And she's actually got the exact amount of time that we promised her. 30 minutes for our doctor. Medical Monday, Ask the Doctor. Coming on the blue chair, Dr. Sarah Jensen, when we return.
I'm excited to announce my all-new mattress topper. In the times we're in, I wanted to bring you the best affordable mattress topper ever. So I took my two best technologies and combined them to make the ultimate mattress topper. And now you can get it for as low as $69.98. Queen size only $99.98. It all starts with my famous MyPillow foam that provides you that overall full body support. Second is the individual comfort supports that give you an amazing custom sleep experience. It's like it's made specifically for you. The queen size alone has over 14,000 comfort supports. This is the perfect mattress topper to improve any bed. New bed, old bed, your guest beds. Get them for every bedroom in your house. Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the all-new My Mattress Topper for as low as $69.98. Queen size only $99.98. Don't delay, order today.
And welcome back. Again, pool time. Summertime is coming to an end. Fall right around the corner, and I think a lot of you have probably scheduled. If you haven't scheduled, you need to schedule your pool closings. If you're going to do it on your own, I can tell you that Just Pools, the pool and spa specialist, they do have 10% off right now, the pool closing kits. I stopped by just the other day, and they were showing 50% off all of the pool toys, as well as those fun noodles, all the things, maybe the little flotation chairs that you need, all of that will be on sale, 50% off until they run out. All right, so I want you to get in right now for pools, but also for the spas, because it is the transition from summer to fall. It's spa season very soon, and I think they had about 3 or 4 in them, but I know they're making room for many, many more. Just Pools, the pool and spa specialist, 3987 West Outer Road South, in Arnold, Missouri, 636-464-7110. We love them. Tell them that the Real Monica Adams Show sent you in. All right, 7:33. Thank you all for coming on to the show this morning. I'll be looking at comments. We've got a lot to talk about. And let me introduce this beautiful lady, if you haven't met her just yet. Dr. Sarah Jensen with Regional Dermatology. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Always looking so classy.
Oh, thank you.
So how was your weekend?
It was great. It was quiet. It was really nice.
Were you cold? Because it was very fall-like.
Yeah. Well, we sat in the sun. We got a bike ride in.
She got her vitamin D in.
Yeah.
You did a bike ride?
My son and my husband. The 3 of us. It's a smaller family now, with the girls gone. So we got out and took a bike ride.
If you don't know, she took her girls to college, and they are on both sides of the world.
Yeah.
Have you been checking in with them?
Yeah, the one has not taken, I should maybe just change between bathing suits. I haven't seen her really dressed. She's been at the beach in San Diego. I'm not sure where the books are, but I'm hoping they come out.
She was so funny. She's like, you know what? It doesn't matter whether I'm a dermatologist. It doesn't matter whether I'm a mom. Here's the picture of my daughter all lathered up out in San Diego.
Yeah. And the other one in Indiana's doing very well. So
Good.
She's doing well, yeah.
Well, I hope you all had a beautiful weekend, and welcome back, by the way. We did start a little bit late for you, but now we're going to get into the heart of our topics. If you have any questions or comments for Dr. Jensen, drop them in. I'll be keeping an eye on my tablet. And this is actually interesting. So Dr. Sarah had said that there are some skin issues that people have gone in the past to a doctor for, but they stopped and they didn't realize there's brand new treatments that are out there. So we really want to get that message across. What are the main skin issues that you're seeing newer treatment advancements?
Well, we've always seen a lot of psoriasis treatments. There's lots of studies and lots of drugs. You see them on the advertisements on TV. There's all kinds of new drugs coming out with pharmaceutical companies. But now we're seeing a lot coming out for atopic dermatitis or eczema, which usually that's a childhood condition that can improve over the years, but also can last and really cause a lot of difficulty with quality of life. So eczema, vitiligo, which is the loss of pigment in the skin, chronic hives, urticaria. Those are just a few that we've seen more studies coming out, and more drugs with them.
So if people went in the past, what was happening? Was it just not helping them? Were they having side effects?
We just didn't have much beyond like topical creams. And, if you have a whole body rash, it really doesn't last that long, one little tube of cream, right? And there's side effects if you use too much of it. You get systemic absorption of steroids and all. And so they really, or we'd go to drugs that, kind of older drugs that were chemotherapy drugs, methotrexate, cyclosporin, which can have effects on your liver, your kidney, and some you can't use that long. So we really were limited on what we could offer people.
And so of everything that we just mentioned, what are you offering now, and what kind of time frame are they taking this over?
So like eczema, for
Yes.
example, we can use a medicine like Dupixent, which is a shot that's given from the age of 6 months and up. And, it's just really unheard of to have a drug that's covered for and approved for that young of an age. So some of these drugs you can keep people on for long periods of time, really improve quality of life. I think I told you my first patient that I put on Dupixent was this young girl in maybe her mid-20s, really covered up because she had eczema really from head to toe. Next thing I followed her up, about 3 months, she's wearing kind of bare shoulders. Her skin's very clear. And it was like, it's life-changing, really,
Yes. What you did to her mentally, right? Because when someone we just saw some of those pictures, but it runs a gamut. When we're talking about skin issues, literally from all the way up here, all the way down. And when someone has that, they just feel so ugly. They feel embarrassed. They're covering up. That had to be huge for her.
It does. And people also think, oh, is that contagious? They
Absolutely.
see psoriasis. They might think it's ringworm or some other contagious, condition. And so it's very disabling. And, sunlight can help a lot of these conditions, right? But what do people do? They cover up head to toe. And I try to tell my psoriasis and eczema patients, if you let your skin see some of that sun, I know it's difficult, like at the pool or in the yard, you might actually improve.
So eczema, for those that have never had it before, what is the root cause of it? Is it coming from inside, or is there still a lot of studies on this?
It's really hard. It's kind of one of those multifactorial things. There's definitely a genetic component. If the parents have eczema or asthma or allergies, seasonal allergies, you're more likely to have a child with eczema. So those things can go together like a triad. And then also, there's skin care. There's sometimes allergic, you get exposed to different things like nickel or preservatives, dyes, fragrances, and people can become allergic to, so it can be a whole gamut of things that can lead to it.
If they didn't have it when they were younger, is it something that could pop up later?
So it's tough. Like atopic dermatitis is classically a childhood disease that can either improve or get, or continue to, worsen.
Always.
When you talk about eczema in adults, it's usually more of an acquired thing, like hand dermatitis. People who use their hands a lot in work, mechanics, bricklayers, people or hairdressers with the dyes. And then there's allergic processes that can cause an eczema type process. So eczema is kind of this umbrella term for a lot of different conditions. And so, these drugs, even used off-label, can help. Like I have a friend who works at a wine bar. He was getting an allergic process to his hands, and even though the Dupixent's not approved for that, I tried it. Sure enough, he cleared. So
really?
Yeah, so a lot of these drugs can be used for a variety of conditions.
And it sits there and makes you think about all the things that are out there in our world, doesn't it? Let me reintroduce my guest, Dr. Sarah Jensen, once again, from Regional Dermatology. 2 locations. One is south, one is west. I love the amount of people that have already gone to see her, all giving her rave reviews. You're going to meet my mother. Besides, right now she's in studio, but mom's coming to you, my aunt's coming to you. We've got a grandma from someone from our team. Everyone's saying, I want to get into her. She seems awesome. So thank you, by the way, for taking care of everyone from the Real Monica Adams show.
It's a blessing. Thank you.
So it made me just think, yes, and there's the locations, by the way, the phone numbers. Regionaldermatology.com is the website you can go to. And the phone number, 636-933-7600. That's for Festus. If you want to go to her Chesterfield location, it's 636-237-0030 to make those appointments. And don't put it off, by the way, because if you've got something, we always say, again, get it looked at early. So I just mentioned it makes you think about all the things that are out there in the world that we're breathing in, that we're putting on our skin, that we're putting in our mouth. Can I look at your career and say where we are today to 2 decades ago? Have you seen things get worse? And do you think it's at all linked to the environmental aspects of what we have?
Well, look, you and I have talked about, I just since that episode that we had with the young middle-aged man with dermatitis herpetiformis, that celiac disease, the gluten intolerance, I just diagnosed another girl who's under 20 with that condition. So I definitely think we're seeing more, allergic processes, and definitely the different additives in the over-the-counter products we use, we can become allergic to, the fragrances, the dyes, the parabens. So we try to really limit those exposures in our office. We have very much more organic products. I often recommend like coconut oil, even olive oil, just basic products that, you can find, in more of a natural foods store.
Well, and we also need to be looking at labels more. I mean, people don't do that. They just grab something off the shelves, that lotion, right, that we're putting, whatever we're using in our hair. And then suddenly you're like, well, why am I getting allergic reaction to this? And then if you turn and look at the labels, I think you'd be shocked by a lot of things that are allowed by the FDA to be put into what you're putting here and what you're putting inside of your mouth. You talked about gut health in the past, right? All those things that are out there. But if that does come up, the main thing that we're saying is get in to the doctor, get it looked at. If it's something you've never had before and it's flaring up, you've seen some of these pictures, we don't want it to go beyond that. So that was eczema. Psoriasis. I also want to talk, you mentioned briefly before, vitiligo?
Yes, vitiligo, loss of color of the skin. So maybe you've seen someone who has kind of spotty skin. It's easier to see kind of in patients of color because it's the dramatic difference. But you definitely see this more, and I've seen it more in the media too. I've seen more people, advertisements. It's where people have this condition.
And what causes that?
It's actually an autoimmune condition where, your immune system's supposed to fight off infection and cancer and other outside factors, but it actually turns in on itself, and your immune system actually attacks the color, the cells that make color in the skin. So it's an autoimmune condition.
And what can be done for that?
In the past, it was very hard to treat. A patient would come in and I would feel very discouraged. And it's hard for physicians, too, when you see someone and you realize, I don't know that I'm going to make this better. So we would use topical creams like steroids. We would use vitamin D creams. Ironically, even though that skin doesn't tan, we would put them in a photo booth, a medical grade photo booth. So, and you have to worry because you're exposing that skin that can't tan and protect itself to more sunlight. But sometimes the light itself can regenerate those cells and help the skin. But now there's a new cream that we've been using, Opsilura, which can be very effective. And so there are tools that we can use, and it makes a physician feel better that at least I can give you something that I have faith that may do something for your skin.
I haven't asked you this question in the past, but it just makes me think, for all of the things that we're talking about today, and there's the cream that Dr. Jensen's mentioning, all these things that we're mentioning from an aesthetic standpoint, it's there, it's in your face, right? But what are they going through here and here? Do you team up with counselors?
What I do is sometimes I'll keep a little log of the patients who have certain conditions, and I'll actually ask them, especially if they seem kind of a more generous patient with their time and energy and we have a connection, would you be willing to talk to someone, especially these more, not more rare conditions where you're not going to maybe see a lot written about it or hear about it on the news.
Right.
And could I get a patient in contact with you if I get a diagnosis, down the road? And I have linked up patients together, and that I think helps. A local, someone in their community, they can talk about, here's what I went through, and so that can help.
Well, the reason I say that is there are people who, after you're around them for a while, you might initially see it, but you're around them, and suddenly I don't even see that anymore, right? And it should be. That's how life should be, by the way. You shouldn't be staring at someone like, what's that? What's that? You realize they see it every single day and what they're going through. They do not need you to harp on it because it just puts them in another state of feeling like this, right? They want to just close themselves in and feel bad about themselves. You're their savior. They're coming to you and they're really hoping, can you please get rid of this? Can you help me
right.
figure out what I can do? But some of those might be long lasting.
Right, and it just made me think about when I was in residency. We attended a camp called Camp Discovery. So dermatologists and maybe other doctors can sponsor a child or teenager to go to these camps. Sometimes there's conditions you really cannot have an effect on, a blistering condition, or maybe a full body, giant nevus, a large mole on the body that really you can't remove, and can be very disfiguring and affect their quality of life. There's camps that you can take these kids to, and the American Academy of Dermatology will sponsor them as well. And it's like they feel like, oh, I'm around people who understand, and maybe we don't all look the same. We have different conditions, but it's like they all get it, and then they don't have to kind of hide their skin or hide themselves.
Oh, I love that.
It's really beautiful. It's like life changing to
that just made me tear up a little bit. But that's it. That's what we're talking about. There needs to be support out there from someone who says, I get it. I'm going through the same thing. And then suddenly you don't feel like you're just alone in all of this.
Yeah.
We're, again, visiting with Dr. Sarah Jensen. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about alopecia. There are people that I'm so proud of that I worked with in the media that addressed she said, this is what I have, and actually took a wig off at a conference that she was speaking at. It was so powerful. It doesn't matter who it is. It's her story to tell. People that were there saw it, but there's a lot of people that go through that. We're going to say what causes alopecia and what can be done about that. I'm going to look at your questions also. Any comments, anything that you're dealing with, let us know. That's what she comes in for. It's Ask the Doctor with Dr. Sarah Jensen from Regional Dermatology. We'll have more with her when we return.
Come on, Monica. Let's go, St. Louis. Turn and burn.
Hello, Miss Monica.
Hey, Monica.
This is a good one. Sometimes you spend like 10 years and you don't got one like this.
Hey, Monica.
It's a feast. It's like a 17-course meal. You just you need a minute. With wine. With a wine pairing. And a whiskey pairing.
That is what? There it is.
I think I just have the most beautiful experience. I saw fireworks.
Thank you, Monica, for making our day.
We need women to lift women up.
Let's do that.
Being on Monica's show, it was like one of the best interviews I've ever had.
Monica's very real, and she really cares about people.
She's changing lives.
Changing lives. I think this is just really what people want to see.
Giving back so much to the community, and I really appreciate it.
Today, Monica was extraordinarily real, not only with me, but with her viewers and her listeners.
Made the interview process like talking to a friend.
Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a few weeks.
Hey. You're close.
Monica. Whoa.
So go out in this world and be anything you want to be. But before you do that, first, be kind.
And welcome back. It is 7:48. I love all the comments. You did exactly as I asked you to do. Give a little grace to Kelsey. We all remember the very first time it was us at the helm. We were in charge, and those nerves and the little gremlins. It happens in life. But the beautiful thing that you can do is brush it off, move on, and guess what? We're here, and she looks amazing. I agree. All right, people are saying you look so beautiful this morning.
Oh, thank you.
and our mutual friend Lindsay Egan is on. She said she loved the dress. You didn't hear me say this in the beginning because we had our gremlins, but they've been asking me to do outfit of the day and give a rundown because I was always known for fashion and TV. Yeah. You're going to love this. Aren't these adorable glasses?
Yeah, I love.
Do you know how much these were?
No.
$3.
That's fantastic.
Do you know how much this dress was? $11. Look at her eyes just bugged out of her head. I'm going to tune you all in to what I found coming up probably a little bit later on this week. But yes, the most expensive thing on me is actually the shoes. But the dress, the glasses, everything. I have found a new place, and I'm going to be like a kid in a candy store. I'll give you the digits.
Okay. Yeah, please do.
If you're just tuning in, feel free to ask any questions that you want, and let everybody know that, yes, we are on. Started a little bit late for you this morning, but we're here for you now, covering a lot of topics. And I know that Julie just mentioned that her daughter has psoriasis on her elbow and ankles, and when she was pregnant, it totally went away, and now it's back. Would there be any reason for that?
Yeah, sometimes so psoriasis is actually the opposite. It's not autoimmune. It's actually kind of super immune. It's like you have a lot of inflammation at the skin level. And so your skin cells are turning over more rapidly. It gets red, it gets flaky, it can bleed. And, when you're pregnant, your immune system sort of tapers down because the idea is, you've got all these factors that are not really your DNA. So you really don't want to react against the fetus. So your immune system calms down, so those conditions that have to deal with the immune system can improve. Now, sometimes things can worsen, with pregnancy.
And maybe it'll go back and forth.
Yeah.
So let's stay on this for just a second. I didn't realize all of these. I've obviously seen psoriasis on the skin. It can be in your nails.
It can be all these different areas. You can have it on your palms and your soles. It can look kind of pustular, almost like an infection. And then, the most concerning thing is really the joint involvement. You can have joint psoriasis, psoriatic arthritis, and that's really, to me, more of a concern because what you see is one thing, but
what's happening on the inside?
Yeah, the destruction of the joints can be very severe.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I love that slide. I've never seen that before. Yeah. We also said we wanted to address alopecia. So first of all, what causes it?
Alopecia, we're talking about alopecia areata. That's an autoimmune condition, very similar to vitiligo, where you actually start to react to the hair follicles. So you have inflammation at the bulb down deep in the fat of the skin, and it's attacking those hair follicles. So it can just be a spot like you see on TV, or it can be widespread. You can lose eyelashes, eyebrows, the hair on the body. It just depends how severe it can be.
And again, it can be extremely devastating. As I mentioned, this happened to a very well-known anchor here in St. Louis. And people started wondering, is she wearing a wig? And she never addressed it until she was at a huge women's conference. And she was up there and all of a sudden took her wig off and said, this is why. And yes, this has been a wig, but this is why. And let's bring this to the forefront so that you all can start talking about this. Because I think back then, no one was really talking about what alopecia was.
Right.
But from that point forward, she said, I don't need to necessarily hide from this, but my hair is thinning, right? And I don't know if it's coming back. So if someone's diagnosed with alopecia, is this a long-term thing that they will have to deal with?
Well, with alopecia areata, it can be long-term. It can also be short-term. Sometimes it can wax and wane. I think sometimes you can see regrowth of the hair. The quicker the onset, the worse the prognosis. So when someone comes in and they've really just lost the hair over a few months period of time, that's not a good sign. Luckily, now we have a couple of different medicines you can take. We've always had medicines you could take that are chemotherapy medications, but you've had to stay on them long term, and they can have side effects and concern for development of cancer or kidney issues, liver issues. But now we have some newer medicines that have come out that have given more hope. They do take a while to kick in. You have to be on them for 8 to 10 months before you see some change, but it's given hope to patients and physicians alike.
Okay, and again, if you have any questions, I really welcome those. Michelle just said, Dr. Jensen, are you seeing a lot of oak leaf mite bites coming in?
Oh, I don't know that I have. I don't know.
I've not even heard of those.
I
You haven't either?
No.
Interesting. Michelle, can you elaborate? Like, where are you seeing that, or where are you hearing that?
Yeah.
Let us know that. I've not seen that at all. Mites are frustrating, though.
Yeah.
Well, you and I talked about this before, and I have to say it. Every time you come in, I love all the new topics you bring because you give me this awareness of, we got to look into this. And that's what I'm hoping for all of you. Now, every time I travel, I do not put my luggage on the bed. So if you missed that episode a handful of weeks ago, my mom's shaking her head. Do you ever put... No, you don't? They don't always have holders, though. So if they don't have the holders, what do you do with it? Put it on a chair?
Yeah, dresser. I like to put it on something that's wood, that's got a material. It's just the fabric. It makes me a little uncomfortable.
Because of bed bugs.
Yeah.
Gross. Yeah. And it just makes me itch every time we talk about
A lot of dermatologists actually will pull back the sheets and look at the seams, too.
There was a whole thing on TikTok about this.
Yeah.
They said, tell me if this is true or if this was just for shock value. If you want to tell if there are bed bugs, they said to take an iron. And you start to slowly iron and you'll see something raise up. Have you ever heard about this?
I have not heard that. But you usually can see something like a discoloration along the seams of the bed. I've been known to check, but the problem is it doesn't matter the quality of the hotel where you're staying. It really does not matter, yeah.
I'm going to bring her along every vacation and say, can you look for me? Okay, good. We're good to go. Let's go have a drink.
CSI.
PSI with Dr. Jensen. Again, oak leaf mite bites. Michelle, elaborate if you want to on that. How about hives? Because I'm thinking, and I always wondered if it was going to come back. So when I was a young girl, second grade, Mom, is that right? Do you think? Second grade, I had all these hives that just showed up all over the body. And here you are, this little kid, and it was hot. It was during the summer, so my mom's putting on tights. I was just miserable. Yeah. And then nothing. And no one ever knew where it came from. Right. So these things can come and go. Does it suppress and come back later in life? I think those are a lot of questions people had.
So with kids, they often will show the hives after an illness, and maybe they didn't appear very sick. They might have had a cold or been exposed to someone who was sick, and they can show that as a reaction on the body, and that can be just transient. But when as adults, you can have hives for a variety of reasons. I mean, you can have hives from medications, from heat, from exercise, from vibration up to the skin. There's so many different reasons for hives. So those are usually transient. The issue is when it becomes more chronic. So if it's over 6 weeks, we call it chronic urticaria or chronic hives. And that's when you can get into more medications. Usually we try to prescribe medicines that will block your histamine release, because it's your mast cells that are releasing the histamine and causing all those wheals, all that red or pink, raised skin. We'll give you Zyrtec, Claritin, all the over-the-counter, Allegra now, and Benadryl. And so we'll try to kind of calm it down. And you want to continually take it. You don't want to just take it when the hives come out.
Right.
We have a newer drug called Xolair, relatively new.
That's a shot?
Yeah, that's a shot that's given once a month, and that has really been game-changing. It really helps. Normally it's given in an allergist's office. We have so few allergists around us, my Festus practice, that we've started just doing it ourselves for patients in the office.
And it's pronounced Xolair, but it's
Xolair, yeah.
I feel sorry for people that come from other countries and they're like, "What? Your English language is nuts."
Right.
Xolair, Xolair. You said you love this medicine.
It's been, really life-changing. And normally we would refer out to allergy, but we just have so few down in Festus. It's kind of a desert for specialists down there.
So cyclosporine was causing kidney risks in the past?
It can. It causes a lot of different changes in lab work. High triglycerides. You have to worry about the kidney. And it's really not a long-term medicine. In residency, we used it more often. And, you could really only use it for a year and a half. They called it the wedding drug because it could clear you up very quickly,
for your wedding.
But it's really not a long-term medicine.
Okay, and so this is an elaboration on the oak leaf mite bites. Kathy just said, Michelle, is that the mite bites prevalent in the Chicago area? My friend was talking about this weekend. So I don't know. We're going to have to look into this. Michelle says they are prominent in this area because they are drawn to cicada eggs, scientifically known as, I am not even going to try to say this word, Pyomotes herfsi? I don't know. Oak leaf itch mites are nearly invisible to the naked eye, but they are responsible for mite bite outbreaks in several states across the country during the fall. Well, we should look into this one. And maybe we can elaborate that maybe into next week. Neither she nor I have heard about those, but maybe they're coming from Chicago. Keep them in Chicago. We don't want them here in St. Louis. You can have them. So before we wrap up, as we transition out of summer into fall, we've been mentioning again, there's always important times to get into your dermatologist. Don't let something escalate. If you see something, go ahead, make the appointment, get into her so you can have peace of mind and she can get onto it early. But it's also all these changes from the skin being dry, being out, exposing yourself to the sun over the summer as we transition into fall. Fall starts in just a couple of weeks, by the way. Do you see more people come right now?
We do. I think after spending time on the lake and at the pool, we see a lot of women, especially coming in for skin changes from the sunspots, melasma, and they try to kind of clean it up over the fall. So
stop doing that to your skin. We say it all the time. Take care of your skin, take care of your skin. Let's put the addresses up so that you can know where she's located. You can call in to set up your appointment. We mentioned, especially the Chesterfield location, she can get you in a lot sooner because that location's been open, what now?
Since February,
Since February? Yeah. So make the call. Don't think that you can't get in. I actually had a woman who reached out to me and said, thank you to what you and Dr. Sarah have been talking about because she saw something. She went in and got it biopsied right away and was able to get it taken care of. And I said, well, did you go to Dr. Sarah? And she said, no, I went into a concierge thing that I have. I was able to get in, but now I want to switch. I didn't know if Sarah could get me in. And the answer is she
sure
can.
can,
She
yeah.
will. So you just saw the addresses. The phone numbers are on the screen. The website is on the screen. Again, regionaldermatology.com. Get into the location that makes the most sense for you, but don't put it off any longer. See, we had our half-hour show. Kelsey, it's all good. It was beautiful. And you used every slide that Sarah gave for us.
She's great.
Right?
She's
She just
great.
needed a little grace. I want you now, though, to take this show and share this with everyone. We'll be taking some really important parts of the show, putting it in our reels and our stories on all of the platforms, including TikTok. That's what we do after the show. So be looking for those. And then we always come up with great topics. We don't know what we're doing next week just yet, do we? I know we've got a doctor that you are wanting to get on. Let's
Yeah.
just put it out there to him. Dr. Twyman?
Dr. Twyman, I'm trying to reach him. He
And-
was in Bali for a while, so maybe
Oh,
he's
okay, you
getting
got
over
grace
his
for
jet
that.
lag. Yeah. But we'll ask.
But you want to bring him in to talk about?
Well, heart disease prevention. I saw him myself, and I think he's got a good thing going in this very building, Apollo Cardiology.
Well,
So
if
I'd
we
like
have to,
get
we're
him
just
in.
going to go knock on the door and say, Dr. Twyman, come join us.
Yeah.
Thank you as always.
Thank
She
you.
and I both are like racing out of here. You're going to go speak to a salon?
Glost Salon. It's owned by Claire Campbellman, and she's one of my relatives. So they do hair extensions, the weaves,
Yes.
and so over there by Tower Grove. And so I'm going to talk to them about scalp conditions and
Interesting.
reasons for hair loss. Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
Collaborative.
We'll have
Yeah.
to see what comes out of that, because if there's a lot of really interesting questions, we might want to do that on a future show for
Not
sure.
a bad idea. Yeah.
Love you, my friend.
Thank you. Love
Thank
you
you for
too.
coming in.
Thank you.
How about 100 Days to Freedom from Anger, which we haven't done in a while. And when we come back, we'll do the wrap-up of a lot of really exciting things that are coming this Thursday, and then 2 new shows in October, all live Mobile Monicas. We'll talk about that when we return. This is my wonderful role model, one of my best friends.
Oh my gosh, you got a long life. You could probably live to be 130 or something. And I said, oh God, I hope not.
It's getting hot in here. Don't take off all your clothes.
I'm not going to take off my clothes. On the radio tape, going to be
Kansas City, Kansas City, here I come. We're gonna spank. We're gonna speak. We're not gonna spank anybody. We're gonna speak about knowing your value, and then I'm gonna.
I'm going to spank them.
If you don't know your value and you don't grab hold of how important you are, I'm gonna spank you. Folks, you never know what you're gonna get with her. I can't stop laughing. So Dr. Sarah said her favorite is when we're dancing. And if you don't know, my mom and dad were champion swing and jitterbug dancers. He will have been gone 29 years this Thursday. So I'm actually glad that I'm going to be surrounded by you, our community, our friends, our family on Thursday. You'll be able to keep my spirits high on the day I lost my daddy when I was just very, very young. So we're going to be together for a Mobile Monica with Jennifer and Shane, the owners of the Landing Hub. The Landing Hub and the Cigar Vault. We're going to be there showcasing this beautiful boutique hotel. And when I say we have a huge giveaway, I mean a massive giveaway that has to do with the hotel. So you need to be there. The Landing Hub. It's been there for 3 years in Pacific, Missouri. I never heard of it, and you may not have either, so that's why we wanted to bring attention to them. They're just an incredible couple. Can't wait to tell their story. They're going to be on with us tomorrow. I always like to bring people in and tell the human interest story of where their life was to take them to that dream. So they'll be on with us tomorrow. Can't wait to introduce you. And then on Thursday, we get to show you around the whole hotel from 4:30 to 6. Come mingle with us. Have a great time. Think about having events there, conferences. You know, there are a lot of people that go and have just a really sterile environment that they bring their business to. Why? The place is beautiful. You could have 50, 60 people in like a little conference, take a break, sit out by the pool. There's a really cool kitchen that they have there and a ton of aviation stuff. After we wrap up at 6 o'clock, we're going to go down the street about a mile or so to their other business called the Cigar Vault. Really cool place. My husband happens to be a cigar smoker here and there, so he, of course, loves it. If you're not a cigar smoker and you don't like the smoke, it's fine. It's going to be beautiful on Thursday, so you can just sit outside. There will be a lot of people there for a little social hour afterwards. Looking forward to that. October 4th, our massive, can you believe, 400 shows already since we launched right here in the studios back on June 12th of last year? Well, we're going to celebrate with Larry and Tiffany Winkler at their location in Defiance, Missouri. It's called The Market and the Watering Hole, affiliated with Circle 6, the farm that's just a few miles away. And when I tell you they have the best meat anywhere, it's because they have the #1 bull in the country. So Tiffany said it's all about genetics. I mean, look at that hamburger. Cold drinks, incredible food, indoor-outdoor service, locally produced and sourced. They have drinks to go as well. Well, we have a huge show planned for you with giveaways, with music, a full steak dinner, steak, potato, salad, and she said on real plates for the Real Monica Adams show. We'll have a couple of drink tickets for you, and then we are raising money for our first responders. So please share this one, because this is important to my heart and soul with my husband being a lieutenant with the county police. The tickets are on sale right now on our website, TheRealMonicaAdams.com, under the calendar of events. $40 for the tickets, and I think about 18 of you have already bought your tickets. Thank you for that. It's all the proceeds going to Responder Rescue, very near and dear to us. They step in when our officers and our firefighters are killed and injured in the line of duty. And then we just got a new one. October 10th, we're going to be at Yenology in Frontenac, which is on Lindbergh. What an amazing store. In fact, this wonderful candle that I have right here that smells so good, this is her signature. Feel the wave, right? The calming of the ocean. We all think about that. So we met Sarah, another Sarah, who owns Yenology, and we're going to be visiting with her coming up before the live show. She'll be in with us on the Tuesday before. October 10th, though, mark it on the calendar. We'll be there for a noon show. Can't wait for all that. We'll be dropping all that information in for you in the coming days. We could, by the way, do a show from your business, and all you have to do is reach out to me, info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com, and we will schedule that. Okay, we haven't done this one in a while. 100 Days to Freedom from Anger. And it's very easy, and the reason why this one's speaking to me today is Kelsey could have be in there today getting angry at herself. What did I miss? What did I do wrong? Right? You can go and escalate your tension and your stress. Well, why? Because we still get on the air. And actually, I didn't do this on purpose, but this matches my glasses. Okay, day 26. Think about this, Kelsey and everybody else. It's called You Blew It. Think about if I was a mean boss and I would just run in there and escalate her tension. You blew it. I wasn't on the air for the first 20, 25 minutes. What's going on? Nope. Instead, I said, give yourself some grace. It's going to happen. We're going to get on. And guess what? Here we are, spreading the message of kindness, spreading the incredible education with Dr. Sarah. Have mercy on me, O God, because of your unfailing love, because of your great compassion. Blot out the stain of my sins. That's Psalm 51, verse 1. You blew it. You went too far. Now it feels like all is lost. Sometimes the consequences of behavior cause irreparable damage. When you go into a rage and your anger creates pain and division, the situation might feel completely beyond hope. Sometimes connections do break down. Someone you have a relationship with might find your anger too much to continue to take on, and they choose to set a boundary or leave the relationship altogether. Anger begins as a feeling and then becomes behavior, which, if not controlled, folks, wreaks havoc in your life. The good news is redemption is available. You can ask God to forgive you and begin to heal so that anger no longer controls your life. You can take steps to ask forgiveness from those you have hurt. You can make amends for the results of your behavior. The other person is not obligated to forgive you or even stay in the relationship, but you do what you can and, let it rest. The work is yours. The other person is not required to respond in a certain way. It's wonderful if that relationship is restored, but sometimes that is not possible. Regardless of the outcome, you still have to work on controlling your anger. Even if you ask and receive forgiveness from the people you hurt, you might still have residual guilt and shame, which, if not dealt with, has the power to become anger all over again. The goal is to completely deal with whatever seeks to control you. You have to have that power. Gaining freedom from anger, well, it's a daily process of asking God to clean your heart, provide guidance for each day. As the Holy Spirit guides your life, you will grow in self-control rather than anger. I hope that hit home for you today. C.S. Lewis said, getting over a painful experience is much like crossing monkey bars. You have to let go at some point in order to move forward. That's a good one. Hannah Moore says, forgiveness is the economy of the heart. Forgiveness saves the expense of anger, the cost of hatred, and the waste of spirits. And Dwight L. Moody said, the voice of sin is loud, but the voice of forgiveness is louder. Here's today's prayer. Lord God, my sin of anger is great and wants to control my life. I ask for your redeeming power to clean my heart and my mind and my soul. I pray for those who have been hurt by my anger to receive healing and comfort from you, and if possible, that they would be able to forgive me for their peace of mind. Thank you, here's the word I said, for your grace and your mercy. What a beautiful way to wrap up. I did not pick that on purpose. I didn't even know that's what I was going to say, but it always seems to just be all tied up like a beautiful bow. What a great show for you today. I hope you got a lot of information from that. Tomorrow again, Jennifer and Shane from the Landing Hub. Can't wait to sit down and visit with them and hear their story of overcoming and overcoming and overcoming when people thought they couldn't do this or that. The same story probably plays out for your own life. See yourself in tomorrow's story. And thank you all, by the way. Remember, share, like, follow, continue to build this community of positivity and hope. I hope you have a blessed day. And remember, be kind.